What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and I am the co-host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's called the Dad Central Show. Well, not only, it's the only one sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and also Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. You can check it out at the Dad Central Show, or I'll put the link up a little bit later. And through that collaboration last year, I was part of a team that reached out to over 100,000 fathers around the world, directly and indirectly. And always like to say, you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution to someone's problem. Welcome to Ryan Knight.
Yeah, good day, good day. Always good to see you. For those that don't know who Ryan Knight is, I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage the business is in today and then help them create a blueprint to grow their companies exponentially. I'm also an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights, which is in the process of doing a GoFundMe to support our young entrepreneurs. I am so proud of this new, new class of potential entrepreneurs that we're working with. We provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we come to your house or to your office, clean your car on the spot. So 2 ways to support. 1, check out the GoFundMe, but 2, book your car to get cleaned. When we come to clean your car, you're not just getting a shiny, clean, fresh smelling car. You are supporting the next future leaders of our community. So, hey, get your car clean through Detailing Nights. And one quick note, of course, why can't I get that right? I represent PACU, which is the Pan-African Credit Union. Please go to pacu.ca, and pledge to support the Black-owned, Black-run financial institution. Their application is into FISRA, so it's now the community's turn to support them and show that we need this financial institution in our community. So thank you, sir.
All right. And let's do it right. Let's do right. This episode of The Morning Vibe is sponsored by the Macmillan Group, providing mortgage solutions one client at a time since 1999. Buying, refinancing, or investing. Call them in Canada, 905-813-4354. Or in the U.S., you can give them a call at 904-586-5636. And thank you so much, Macmillan Group, for your continuous support. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. So, yes, Detailing Nights. This is Detailing Nights weather.
Absolutely. I'm loving the sun, loving the heat. It is go time. The summer is going to be wonderful. I'm seeing a lot of festivals coming back. Pride hit with a bang. But I also saw a couple that got canceled again. The
Taste of the Danforth is not happening this year.
I am really shocked with that. I thought they would push through.
Yeah, you think something that's been around for so long would have processes in place. Really interesting. When I heard that, I went, oh my. Good morning, Marlon Steven. Good morning. More jobs. Thank you. How you two doing? I can only say
Fantastic.
I'm
Fantastic.
blessed, highly favored, magnet for miracles, solution for someone's problem, and blackalicious. So that's
Yes.
how I'm doing. That's how I'm doing. And another interesting thing that came up over I was doing some driving and I was with someone and we went by a TDSB school and they said June is Pride Month.
Okay.
And interesting, they put, but isn't also June Indigenous Peoples Month?
Okay.
And they said, how come they didn't have anything signifying it also being Indigenous Peoples
Oh, for
Month?
both.
They,
Right. Right.
I say, she was saying that why didn't they have June is Indigenous Peoples Month and Pride Month? And then she deduced, well, and it just shows you the great organization that the people of Pride have, making sure that their message is in the forefront.
Right. Well, and it's consistent pressure, right? Being able to make sure, like you said, those messages are relayed. I would say, hey, maybe the indigenous community isn't pushing as hard, but again, that should just be
Well,
standard.
I think it could be a bit of, but also the monetary value of that community
Mm-hmm.
is much more. I would, from where I sit, it could be correct if I'm wrong. They have bring more economic value
Mm-hmm.
than the indigenous community. And let's be honest, there are
Right.
probably more members of their community in high places in
Mm-hmm.
corporate Canada than there are of indigenous.
That that could definitely be a fact. Yes.
Like I know that at least one of Canada's major banks has executive that is his role is and has been
Mhm.
for a number of years for that community, banking
Yeah.
and service.
Al Ramsey at TD.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Has been. I don't see anyone appointed to anything like that in any of the major banks for the indigenous community,
That's very true. Yes. Yes.
right? And it's just in the last maybe 2 years there've been individuals appointed in different banks to handle banking services for the Black community. In fact, Al Ramsey now has that portfolio added on to his, that portfolio. So he's carrying both. But up until recently, there was no executive responsible for banking for the Black Canadian community in TD Bank. And I don't know for other banks. I'm not going to say because I don't know, but it'd be very interesting. But it goes back all, piggyback into our conversation with Dr. Carey on
Mhm.
Friday. Talk the talk, walk the walk.
Absolutely.
You know,
And so far, not a lot of companies can say they're walking the walk. So,
well, and we're not letting go of that conversation piece, folks. It'll be continuing us throughout as long as I'm above ground. We're going to be chatting about it.
in fact, tonight we are doing a conversation about these Black entrepreneurship loan programs because I've been documenting my journey, as you were saying, grabbing my phone and just showing the process that I've been going through to apply for the RBC one, BMO, CIBC, and the FACE Coalition. So tonight I'm going to be revealing, I guess, the results of that. And I want to hear from others that have applied. And hey, maybe there are good success stories out there, and maybe there's people that are experiencing what I'm experiencing. So we want to really, it's almost like a focus group, I guess you could call it,
Yeah,
to just have a conversation about people's experiences.
absolutely, absolutely. Good morning, Claus. He's trying to. School trustee for Kitchener Waterloo put it out there that he's gathering up votes for fall elections. Important,
Good
important,
stuff. Good
and
stuff.
especially with what's going on south of the border, ground level politics is more important than anything else. I want to say good morning to Stepson's Pence. Good morning, Harris Marketing. All the regulars are here. Thank you. Good morning, sirs. Uh, Macmillan Group. Good morning, gentlemen. How does a community who was raped of everything bring significant? Wow, great comment. That was raped of everything brings significant value. The Indigenous history of Canada is Canada's best, worst kept secret. Agreed. Understood.
100%. Yes.
100%. And Christine, you're saying what about grants? I don't know. Well, Brian, you know what? We'll cover that in another conversation. We're taking away from our star that's coming up to our
Yes.
platform. But yeah, I think Ryan will cover that maybe indirectly in his journey. But I think right now he's focusing on the loan aspect. But Christine, uh, talk to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Hmm.
All right. Well, we are bringing a gentleman. I believe he's been on. Yeah, I think he's been on the Morning Vibe before. But there are always updates in his journey, his organization's journey, and want to share one or two success stories that are going on with his organization. We got Richard Miller of Keep6ix, the man that most of the time when I call him, he's in transit or he's on a construction site. But I don't believe it. He's actually
Yes.
in his yard. Unmute yourself, Mr. Richard, so we can hear you.
Nice.
Unmute yourself.
Good,
There we go. There
good
we go.
morning.
Good morning. How are
Good day.
things?
Good day.
Wonderful. It's a beautiful day. I'm very blessed to be here with you, gentlemen, as always. Nice to see you in good health and good spirit.
Excellent. Excellent. For those who don't know about yourself and your organization, can you give a little bit of an overview?
Sure. Well, I'm Richard Miller, the founder of Keep6ix nonprofit organization. Keep6ix is a nonprofit organization that caters to individuals that has been to the justice system and also young people from a marginalized community. We offer a variety of programs from a program that we've developed called Gangs for Tuition, which is supported by the city mayor and also Peel Regional Police Chief. This program is for individuals who are maybe in a criminal lifestyle or would like to exit, or someone with a firearm. They're able to surrender that firearm to one of her members, who is a criminal lawyer, Jordana Goldlist. And in turn, that firearm will be handed over to the police authority, and that individual gets to go through our training to mental health, but also at the end of it, they get the opportunity to be in the trades in the union, and they get the opportunity to pick a trade of their choice that they feel that they would like to venture into for their life experiences. And also, we have a partnership with Elevate Canada in the tech sector, where individual can able to go through a 12-week training with Elevate, and from there they're able to go into employment in the tech sector.
Wow. Can
Love
I
it.
get training from you? Like bang, 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 bang. My
Yes,
God.
yes.
Man, he went to man. Can I go to both of your schools to just like bang it load like that? That's pretty good.
Well, that's the important things about be able to elevate our young people and our adults in the community. Over at
Mhm.
Keep6ix, we don't have an age cutoff. You know, what I mean, you could be 17, you could be 13, and you could be 39.
Gotcha.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, uh, people you've been on before, so people want to find out more about Keep6ix, go to the previous conversations. But let's start with a success story, collaboration with Universal Music.
What?
Give us some background about that.
So yes, my pleasure. So I was fortunate enough to we have a music program that I've been working on. COVID came and kind of put things on hold, and I decided to continue it after the COVID opening up. So we're launching Keep6ix music program, youth music program, and this program covers youth from 13 to 21 years old. The program itself is takes individuals through everywhere from singing to engineering to producing, and also even music videos to be able to make their videos. So, with that said, I was very lucky enough to have Universal Record USA came across Keep6ix on our social media and reached out to us, and because of the work that we're doing in the community. And they came not about talking, but about cash money. And they gave Keep6ix some funds towards our music program. With that said, we have a collaboration with Black Chambers of Commerce for this program, where they once you go through the Keep6ix program, music program, then you would get the opportunity to go to an entrepreneurship for 4 weeks with the chambers. and they're providing that. That gives you the opportunity to learn about the contracts and the legal aspect of the music industry. So pretty much we got everything covered, straight across the board. Um,
Solid.
we are also with Universal Canada. I had the opportunity of being introduced to the CEO, which gave me the opportunity for a tour of their brand new studio they built over COVID. I guess because of COVID, it was never used, and now things are starting to open up. So we have the opportunity of support from the financial aspect from them, but also the opportunity of their facility. So on July 4th, we will be launching the Keep6ix music program at Universal Music Canada head office in Toronto at 80 Atlantic Street in Toronto.
Yes.
Wow.
It's amazing opportunity. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very blessed for the support. I think in a time like this, with all the violence, the gun violence continuing, it's very important. And I've kind of geared my program towards these youth, and that's one of the reasons why. Because if anybody hasn't noticed, we've been having the youth. I think Father's Day weekend. I think we had 6 or 7 shooting. And if you look at the statistic on even that one day alone or that weekend, there was only one individual in that whole thing that was over the age of 21. They're
Wow.
all 14, 15,
Right,
right?
right.
So that's where we're at right now, and that's where I'm kind of geared at. So we're launching that, and I'm hoping to have the community come out. And if you have someone who's very talented, come on out. We've also, with the music program, we've also launching Black Canada Got Talent. And that is
Ah,
an initiative that we are doing where individuals are able to submit their audition and submit it through keep6ix.org. And we'll be doing on August 30th, we will be doing a judging and picking the winners. And then we'll be having something and then, a prize to be on another television show, prize to record, even at Universal, and so forth.
I'm so
Wow.
curious. What made you switch? 'Cause I know you're deep into the trades, you're a contractor yourself. What made you add on the music component to support the youth with?
Well, one of the things we found, if you recall, we did that Christmas concert, was it
Mhm.
2 years ago, and how successful. We had over 6,000 people watching us.
Mhm.
And after that, I had a lot of youth says we don't have the support here in the city.
Mhm.
So I decided to go ahead and open up Keep6ix Records, and I did sign some of the individuals that did perform at that Christmas fundraiser for families impacted by gun violence.
Right.
So with that said, I found that there was a missing piece for these youth where they wanted to be able to have that support when it came to their music, because there's a lot of talent in the city here. And if you look at the other issue that we have, where a lot of our talents are being incarcerated or being caught up into some kind of criminal activity, right? So I kind of wanted to be able to, since we had the mentorship and we had the trade and everything else. And this was something that I found was passion for a lot of individuals. I figured, well, I'll try to get the support. And I was, very fortunate that Universal came to the table.
I
Love
find it interesting that you
it.
were approached by Universal Music US before
Hmm.
Universal Music Canada. Did you find that interesting?
Yes, I did. And I think the work that Keep6ix does and social media played a big part. I mean, you never know who's watching you, and there's, these big corporations or somebody might just see something you're doing and they feel that, well, this is something that they would like to be a part of, and step up to the table.
So, what was your response when you got that first reach out from US Universal? What was your first reaction?
My first reaction was simply, is it real? First of all,
Right.
you
Yes.
know, the internet, it can be very deceiving.
Mhm.
But we responded back to the email and the correspondent back and forth, and then they gave an outline of what support they'd like to give and financial and put a number to it. And I said yes. And within a couple months later, everything has to go through paperwork. They produced.
So how long was it from the initial communication till everything signed?
I would say about 90 days.
Okay,
wow.
that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because I that is interesting. Now, how normal is that in the work that you do?
It's not.
Thank you.
It doesn't happen, So.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to challenge other organizations. Here is a nonprofit organization, Black nonprofit organization in Toronto, gets reached out by an international organization. That's one thing. Second thing, they get a deal done in 90 days.
Yeah. And it was deposited into the organization.
90 deal done, money deposited. 90 days. We need to get that as a clip online, right?
True.
90 days. And from an organization not even from this country. Yeah. Ryan, what do you think about that?
Absolutely. Well, I don't know if you saw that report from The Plug about all these pledges that companies have been given in the US. And so I'm curious to find out about the companies in Canada that's also pledged to support a lot of our Black organizations. And so far, like let's say the Black North Initiative has been 2 years since they were formed, how much money has actually flowed. And so it's curious to see now a U.S. entity connecting with a Canadian entity and it being able to act so quickly.
90 days.
I'm curious, is there any other corporations that would be on your hit list to get them to support what you're doing?
Well, sure. I mean, Canadian corporations over the years have had maybe one or two reached out to us, but unfortunately haven't had anything like Universal has, right? Last year, we did have Rogers reached out to us last year, and unfortunately, we did not have our charitable status, and that was something that they required to be able to donate to us.
Richard, can I just interrupt? Do you have that now?
No, we're still waiting.
Okay, so I want to bring that point up. International company finds a Black Canadian nonprofit organization, and even though they don't have a charitable status, they still do a deal and still give the money in 90 days.
Yeah,
quite interesting. Rogers, are you listening?
No, but I'm not pointing out. I'm saying right across the board.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm saying right across the board.
Yeah,
right across the board. 90 days from initial conversation to done deal. Everything, money, 90 days. How many times, Ryan, have you heard anything like that of this magnitude?
I haven't seen it. So that's why I'm inspired by what you do, Richard, and really to use it as the blueprint to amplify what you're doing, because that process that you went through, other corporations need to know.
This is what I'm saying.
2 years.
This is what I'm saying, Richard. To me, I go to all these other corporations that want to help you and say, well, this company, international company, came to us, spoke with us, deal done, money, and we don't even have charitable status. And I would say, how serious are you?
It shows. I mean, the difference in many ways to look at, right? Because even the fact that Universal Canada connected with Keep6ix, and within that period of time, they opened their doors, and I physically had the opportunity to go into their establishment, the building, and have a complete tour. I mean, they took the time. There wasn't one corner that I didn't have the opportunity to see. As a matter of fact, the day when I was there, the artist from the state, J. Cole, was apparently going to lock the studio down, and they got me in the studio, to show me the studio just before he came into the building and locked the studio down, right?
90
Amazing.
days.
Yeah. So all this took place. So I mean, it just goes to show that there's a lot can be done, but a lot of times I think that we don't push the bar, and I think a lot of times, for me, differently. You guys know me personally, but I'm kind of the person who just goes straight to the point, right? And I think maybe it could be my approach, or sometimes, a lot of times, I think it's just the work that we're doing at Keep6ix. It makes a big difference. People just believe and see that it's needed, and want to be a part of it, and that's how I see this collaboration with university.
Yeah.
90, 90 days.
But I'm curious, Richard, from your perspective, you've seen a lot of different programs pop up in Peel, Toronto, GTA for the youth. And what are you seeing is missing? Because the shootings are still happening. There's a lot of unrest. Is there something specific that you could put a finger on, or is there something more holistic that might be missing in our community to really curb these shootings and violence?
Well, there's a few things that I have come across. One thing is that we have a lot of talk going on. Like, even I have to take my hat off, because when it comes to politicians and so forth, I can speak on my own personal experience, because I've been to Toronto with the same program,
Mm.
had a meeting, sat in Toronto City Hall with the deputy mayor, Michael Thompson himself, um, 3 years ago, and we never had any response from the city of Toronto, and came over and brought it to Brampton, and Patrick Brown came to the table, and my hat goes off to him, and supported and launched the program last May itself, right? And I think when you're dealing with individuals who understand the magnitude of what's needed in the community, those individuals support grassroots organization like Keep6ix to do the work to make the community better. And there's a lot of talk. Um, Even I just sent an email out regarding the launch of the program, which is taking place in the city of Toronto, and we never even received an acknowledgement back from the
Oh,
mayor himself, John Tory, or even Michael Thompson, or anyone there. All right. We sent it out to the city of Brampton, and guess what? We received an acknowledgement back from the mayor's office, from one of the councilor, a member who's a councilor office also, to acknowledge it, and so forth, right? So when you're looking at things, you have to look at it from the broader aspect of what exactly are individuals doing. As a grassroots, you need certain support. You need certain financial um, support to carry out the programs. One of the things that's missing is we have to deal with the mental health and trauma aspect. There's a lot of trauma with these youth. I just finished doing a parole hearing on Friday, and the young man that I was sitting on the board to support through Keep6ix was trauma. He's dealing with trauma from he was probably 13 years old. That has got him, good kid, great family, and everything else, but have trauma that has got him caught up in the system, right? So we have to deal with that to be able to give them the support they need. The other thing that we have to come to terms with is that we need to be able to come and on a different level when it comes to the financial aspect, because you can have a great program, but you cannot deliver it unless you have the financial aspect to deliver that program, because no matter what we're trying to do, we need some kind of help, right? And I think that's one of the things that are missing. And if we're able to cover the mental and the trauma, but also be able to get the youth and structure them, we're off to a good start. And that's where we, at Keep6ix, we kind of support.
Ryan?
Gotcha. Well, as you mentioned, somebody's got to write the check. Have you ever broken down what would be that number that allows you to operate at the optimal level? Is there a number, or is it more fluid?
There's a number. I said if we at Keep6ix, if we had funding and said we had even $800,000,
Mhm.
we could really do some serious damage and changes into
Good
the,
damage, that is.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah, we
Well,
could,
this is something we should press. There's 500 corporations that signed on to this Black North Initiative CEO pledge. If that's the number, we should go get it. And again, using what you've been able to sign with Universal US as that blueprint to say, what is keeping you guys from really supporting a program that is unique and supporting something in the community that is so needed? So if that's something that I can help with, please let me know. But we should really be pressing now.
I want you to make sure you put out on your social media about the 90-day thing.
that's right.
No, I'm being very, very serious.
Yes, yes.
You know, and title the post, "Who's serious?"
That's what, you know what, you can hold me to that.
I know you will. I
I
know
like
you will. But that I still like this 90-day thing. Like, I think it's really got to get out there. It's real, and I bet I have a strong feeling you never can guarantee it, but if you start putting it out there, someone's going to come up, someone's going to step up because
Mhm.
when companies see other companies doing stuff like that, they'll they'll probably jump on board. Who knows if they're really done, but they don't want to be left behind.
Right.
100%.
It was the same thing when the city of Brampton, when they launched the program. It was more or less Brampton came out the door, and my argument was, here we have like Toronto, who's, much larger than Brampton, and then you had Brampton's mayor come to the table and says, "Well, I love this program, and this is what we need, and I support it," and end up launching it, and so forth, right? So it just goes to show sometimes those small things can make a big difference. But then the bigger individuals will sit back and watch what the small guys are doing, right? And that's exactly what's going on.
Yes.
Everybody's sitting back watching, these big individuals are back watching, but then the small people are doing it. Even when you even support even from Peel Region to as Keep6ix is one of the for resources for their new program, the community engagement unit, where it's not about arresting black. There's no arrest takes place with these black youths, about resources, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, and how big is Toronto force compared to even Peel? So we have
Got
to
a
stop and look at all this. That's how I
We
see
got
it.
a question here
Absolutely.
from the audience. Charmaine is saying, "Great work, Richard. Do you find that the youths that you have helped to reform are interested in joining the organization or give support to the programs for other youths?"
Mm.
Yes, we've got youths, individuals that has been through the program and volunteers with the organization up to this day and does mentorship and so forth. And then I think the audience have to remember one thing within Keep6ix itself. It's people who have had lived life experience. So even the program, whenever a facilitator was an individual who went through the justice system and came out and went back to school, became a big paralegal on Bay Street, and
Excellent.
yeah, became and develop a program that we run within Keep6ix, the trap program, right? So um, I guess that's why whenever right now we have a success rate of 80%. Individuals gone through the program is either working in the union, they haven't been in trouble with the law, they are being productive members of society and so forth, right? So the fact about it is that we have something that's growing, and it took me years to build. I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware. I mean, it took me like 4 years, and it was the support of some of the Toronto defense lawyers, and even um, Peel, what's his name, Hubert Hiltz. He sat at the table with all of us when we developed the program to assist about challenges that we face.
Nice. And I'm curious to hear what would be the evolution of Keep6ix. Like, where did you want to take this? You have, let's say you have that 800,000. What are some of the first things that you would implement to really I'll say, strengthen what you're doing and amplify it?
I think one of the first step for me would be to have a staff team, be able to pay a staff to when it comes to address that trauma and mental health. Because before we can do anything with these youth or individuals, we have to address the underlying issues, right? And the way I break it down a lot of times is it's like a car. Um, you might have the car and the car looks beautiful, and Ryan Knight detailing came and clean it. It's clean and beautiful, you know what I mean? And when they're finished, it's sparkling. But guess what? Underneath the engine is no good,
Right.
and that's how I break down, the whole situation with these youth, right? So will be that. The other thing that I'm very passionate about and I've been trying to work towards is that uh, individuals that are coming out of the system having a halfway house, a black centric halfway house for these individuals,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So they have programs that they can relate to. They have of their culture. They have individuals delivering that looks like them and can account to their hardship or whatever the challenges they have faced in life, right? So these are the things that I would put the money towards and work to build even more.
And you mentioned that you've had conversations with different politicians, and hey, Michael Thompson, nothing went forward. Patrick Brown, something quicker went forward. At all three levels of government, what has been your response, and what type of engagement are you getting from the federal level, even the provincial level as well?
I've had the support. I haven't had any support from the federal level. I've had a lot of federal individuals ask me to be at the table. I
Okay.
Just a few months back, I was asked to be at the House of Commons to speak about gun issue at the House of Commons. I've had several MPPs reach out from here in the city here all the way to Sturgeon Falls and so forth. Reach out to speak with me, right? Um, the support that I've been receiving, honestly, it's been coming from what was that a municipality level, which is the city of Brampton itself.
Okay. And I remember the last time that we met, you talked about an issue happening at the East Detention Center. Has that gotten any traction, and has that been able to resolve at any point?
So what had happened was there was a significant amount of abuse happening at the Toronto East Detention Center, especially when it came to Black offenders. It got so bad that, from my understanding, the police even got involved, and there was 2 officers suspended. On Sunday, yesterday, the CBC News did a piece on what I have brought to light and so forth. The issue itself, I have been in talk with the Solicitor General, Sylvia Jones, and now she's just changed seats now this week or last week. And the response again came of not taking any accountability for what's going on.
Right.
We've had offenders who has been beaten to in their eyes and their wrists been broken and stuff like that, and they've been using racial slurs. It hasn't gotten. It has somewhat gotten some attention, but hasn't gotten better. The issue still arises. I am hoping. I received a call just before the election a couple weeks back from the Attorney General office outlining to me that they were going to set up a meeting with me with Sylvia Jones, but they're going to wait until after the election just in case she was not in that seat anymore. And whoever took over, they would set up a meeting with me to, discuss it. So as for date, I'm still fighting for them. I'm still advocating. I'm still bringing it to light, and I'm still want accountability.
And is that like a federal issue, or is it provincial?
That would be provincial issue.
Okay.
Yeah, the East would be under the provincial mandate.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And I'm curious your perspective on how the like gangs for guns or tuition Oh my gosh.
Gangs for tuition.
Gangs for Tuition, right? How the program is going. Did it get to launch in Toronto yet, or is it only in Brampton right now? And how's it going?
The program is going very, very well. I mean, there's a cohort running as we speak every Thursday. We're still doing the virtual. Um, no, it has not launched in Toronto.
I come back and you're kicking people. You're so bad.
No, you're not. No, it has not launched in Toronto. And yes, it's PL that has it's running. But keep in mind, the individuals that are going through the program are not alone, not from PL. There are individuals that are from PL, but it's throughout the GTA. A lot of some of the individuals are individuals that are coming out of the system, and we've supported them and being at their attended their parole hearing, and part of their parole condition is to attend the program. In Peel, we have had individuals that are when was charged a young offender and was at the Roy McMurtry, and they are finishing their sentence and they're turned adult, but they're still at the Roy. And part of their condition too was to be mandated to take it, and then whatever referrals and so forth. But um, Peel region, is where it's at. They standing up, and Patrick wasn't playing around, and we got the support, and that's where it's we're helping.
Just want to jump onto another conversation topic. I know that you have been sending out some emails about certain things that are happening with the criminal justice system, and you're not getting much response, or the response you're getting is puzzling. Do you want to share our audience one of those two things?
Yes. So we're just addressing it. So what has happened is that there's a let's use the word. It's fair to say I can use it. Gang. There's a gang of correctional officers at the Toronto East Detention Center, and their mandate is to abuse Black offender. So this came about because the provincial government or the Solicitor General, they came up with a program called a Safer Program. The program was launched in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and they brought the program to the East. Their theory is the program is supposed to um, classify offenders of what level of security they are, which we're aware that when it comes to classification of offenders get classified when they are sentenced and found guilty. So they're breaking the institution down into three different levels: a max, a medium, and a minimum. A minimum would be a work range. So they're just taking individuals off a range and says, well, they're in a max unit. So the max unit was supposed to be in this unit and get out 4 hours a day. Never happened. The 4 hours went down to 2 hours. Never happened. Then it went down to they're locked up 23 hours um, a day, or 23 and a half hours a day. So they get out for 20 minutes for a shower and stuff. They weren't able. So then on top of it, officers were built a WhatsApp group, and it was called the Misfit Group. And I was able to get the information from there. And what they did on that group, they spoke about what offender they're going to target, what offender they assaulted, what they're doing to the offender, even the fact about taking offenders, family might send photos in, and they would take out, open their mail, and when they're going through, they take the stuff and throw it out, and I give it to the offender. So with that said, I reached out to individuals at the ministry, and I wrote a letter to Sylvia herself and other member within straight across. I did a blast, as you mentioned. I did receive a reply back from Sylvia Jones' office herself, well, whoever wrote it, and it was very disturbing because we spoke about all the um, issues and abuse that's taken place when it came to Black offender. Well, in her response, she speaks about policies that the ministry has in place, right? And the policies are supposed to protect and these issues, and they have zero tolerance. Well, it's still going on. Well, it's not under her watch anymore, but it's still going on. Unfortunately, we have not. been able to come to the table. I received a phone call, like I was telling Ryan earlier, while you're away, that from her office saying that they're going to have a meeting with me, but they're waiting for election to finish to see who's going to, if she's going to be still in that position or if somebody took the place. They're going to set that up. But that's where we stand right now. Yesterday on CBC News, they um, exposed the article. They did an article on the issue that I've been speaking about, and now I was told today that Flo also spoke about it this morning on it. But that's about the exposure that I've received regarding it, and I continue to advocate for the injustice because Black offenders' lives matter, right?
Absolutely. 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 Thank you for updating us because it's a journey what's going on. And you and I talk offline a lot, and I always want to know what the update is in regards to that. Question here from our audience. More Jobs is asking, Richard, question: what top three trades are you young people mostly interested in?
So at the present time, we have a few unions that support Keep6ix, like Local 183, Carpenters 27, plumbing, and so forth. A lot of the youths are going towards the carpentry, plumbing, and HVAC.
Mhm.
Carpentry, I find. Some of them also the iron rod in the steel sector for high rise or low, high rise or low rise.
Another comment. Wow, the comments are coming in like what it's no surprises. Richard's everywhere. Who's helping these young people learn about budgeting, investing, insurance, etc.? If some are new to making legitimate journey, would these financial concepts be helpful to them?
Definitely would be. At the present time, we have support with our collaboration from Black um, Chambers of Commerce for financial literacy support for these young. And that's part of that entrepreneurship that will be taking place with our music program.
All right. More Jobs is saying, Richard, I commend the work that you're doing. It is so needed. However, not a popular topic that always receives funding. Hardly receives funding. Not always. It needs funding. Charmaine says, what would you say are the main grassroots issues amongst the youth, such as a missing role models, peer pressure, poor self-worth, mental health? I know you spoke about the mental health piece earlier. What about any other aspects that they are challenged with?
Well, the mental health comes number one. That's way at the top. The next thing I would say is the peer pressure. I just had a young man that we are supporting, and he ended up going with a friend out of the city, and with a firearm dropped, and went off and hit somebody else, and all because of peer. And this is individual that comes from a great family that you would never expect, right? And again, it was just the wrong friend.
Mm, mm. More Jobs is asking, are there any youth from your incubator that have made it to Red Seal status?
No, we have not had anyone as of today that have gone to Red Seal status.
What is Red Seal status? If you could educate us.
So it's something that's in a trade that when you've got certain amount of hours experience, you are qualified as a Red Seal.
Okay. I know time is winding down, but I would love to get your thoughts on the police report, Toronto police report. From why do you giggle like that? That
Uh,
was released last week.
why do I have a
Well,
feeling that you're just trying to get me wind up here today?
no, you already did it a long time ago. So I don't know what you're talking. I'm getting on the back of the train. I'm just trying to catch the train that you're driving
Well,
this morning.
the police report itself is I'm on live. So I
Okay.
I will say that it is very nice that they acknowledge things, but it's not about it now. We're aware of this. It's the same thing that's going on within the correctional system,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about it. And look at Sylvia Jones' response. We have policies in place that governs this. Um, I would like to see them take accountability, right? Come into terms and bring it out and apologizing, wonderful. But I want to see changes.
Action.
I want to see, until you are able to take accountability for these actions and what these officers do or what this correction is doing, don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So we need action.
We need action.
Okay. Ryan?
But that's where, like, what does accountability look like? Because right now, where do we go from here where they have this report come out and really they can just say sorry and move on and nothing really happens? So what recourse do we have to like keep pushing?
My way of always doing it, I always just simply I'm the first one to go sue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I've learned by taking them on and even making lawsuits against them, that's a time when they actually um, try to fix or say, well, we're going to do this, but actually do it, right? And until we can see these officers not be suspended with pay, but being charged criminally, being out of work, go find yourself another job. This is not for you. You're not built for this, right? That's my way of accountability. We can't. It's corruption. There's a whole lot of corruption going on, and we're aware of it, and we're speaking about it. But until someone step up to the table and says, "Well, this is not acceptable," and just like you said, "Well, there's zero tolerance." Right.
So, do you feel like any person that has submitted a complaint or had a negative run-in with law enforcement, should they be now taking this report that they created and finding a lawyer to say, "Listen, I was telling the truth back then; it was
Sure.
ignored, and now I wanna press charges or sue"?
100%.
Mm.
I'm all for it.
The only challenge about that is hiring a lawyer takes
Yeah.
money.
Got lots of money. And, I remember something. A lot of times, what I've learned is I've noticed a pattern with them. When you are writing your challenge in them and you start making a claim against them, they have a lot of, before they even pull out their big Bay Street lawyers, they try to use their lawyer to try to negotiate something with you. That is their track record or pattern, I've noticed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think once we are able to even do a class action, and that's another way. But even the fact of what's taking place at the East and other institution, remember something. Just a few years back, segregation was abolished. It was against the law for anyone to be in segregation. So what they're doing, you have to understand, they're just repackaging things and calling it something else, a safer program. You're locking up someone for 23 and a half hours a day or 23 hours. It is segregation,
Bottom
right?
line. Bottom line. Question here. More justice. Some would say crime fuels, quote, the system, unquote, that leads to status quo, aka keeping things the same. How do we lower the crime rates with effective programming? Good question.
Well, again, we come back to the issue of being able to support the youth with program. Once we have programs that the youth we're not talking about program just for statistic or to meet a report. We're talking about program that really works, that youth are engaged in it. We're not talking about programs where you're paying a youth to come and sit here and you said, well, I had 80 individual went through, and at the end of the program we had 3,000 people went through. No, I'm talking about when you are doing a program, you are following the individual after the program to see how they are doing, right? Are they still staying out of crime? That's how we do. We still keep a data on the individual that's gone through Keep6ix Gangs for tuition. We're aware of where they are, if they're working in the union, what they're doing, or if they've gone back in the justice system and so forth, right? So that's the difference. And up to this day, we're still giving them that support. We have individual who might, hey, we had an individual who said, you know what, I'm making great money. I'm starting to drink. What I mean, I'm enjoying my life. So, hey, we had to stop him and introduce him to someone, to counseling and stuff like that, to help him, for this new success that he's got in his life, to be able to manage it, right? So
Absolutely.
it makes a big difference.
Good stuff. Well, I think we've come to end of another epic conversation. Mr. Miller, I know that when we get you for an hour, it's a momentous event.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for being here as always. And I just want to remind everyone, July 4th at 1 p.m. at Universal Music Studio. Please join us for the launch of Black Canada Got Talent and Keep6ix music program. It'll be a great afternoon at 1
That
p.m.
is
July
great.
4th.
Unfortunately, I can't make it because
what day is it again?
It's next Monday, to be Pacific, after a long weekend.
Next Monday, yeah. Unfortunately, I cannot make it, and I'm not pleased that I can't make it. But if you want to find out more information, their contact information is on the screen, website, and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Richard, as always, a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. And you know what I'm going to say? You know who I wanted to say hello to?
Yes, I'll definitely say hello to our ED.
Rachel is an amazing person. She is
work.
phenomenal. One day we'll get her back on the platform. It sounds like she's avoiding us, but one day
we'll definitely arrange for her to come on back on.
Please do.
And if anybody out there that needs support or having a young person that's going through challenges, that's the lady to reach out to a Keep6ix. Just give us a call, Rachel will help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will just, before Richard comes off the screen, I will say that, and I've mentioned before, and I'll mention again, there was a member from my community that is very passionate about employing individuals that Keep6ix helps. And long story short, that gentleman's been there. Rich has got to be at least a year and a half to 2 years now.
2 years.
2 years, and is doing a phenomenal job because the person who brought the gentleman on board, I speak with that person every week, and I ask how that individual is doing, and she says he's phenomenal, and she mentors him through some challenges and things like that, but she's very grateful that I reached out to Richard and Rachel, and it does work, folks, if you work it.
100%. Thanks,
All
Richard.
right. Thanks, Richard. Have a great day. Be well.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and stay safe, and God bless.
Take care. All right, another epic conversation.
Yes.
Sir. That was a beauty. That was a beauty. Wonderful things.
Hey, like you said, that 90 days, that needs to become the max.
That's,
you have to put pressure on these corporations to actually do what they said they're going to do.
Like, again, international, global brand, comes in, says, we want to help you. We don't care if you have a charitable status.
Right. Well, would you say you're experiencing the same thing with Dove Men Care, where that's been able to get done and executed, but reaching out to other corporations?
No, that took a lot of time because had to, like this. So the Dove Men Plus Care situation, it was Canada, but then they had to get approval from at least the America. So it took time. So for me to hear, that is so unique, family. So unique. Really? If you really look at that, right? Yeah, Dove Men Care thing took time, but now because we've developed a relationship and they know, like, and trust us, things go through a little bit faster. But you still have to go through the process, or somebody say the bureaucracy, to get things done. Yes. But 90 days. 90 days. Like, that's amazing.
I haven't been involved in anything that's gone that fast, especially with an international company.
Like what? So my question is, what is again? I bring up what is taking some of those big people so long. You know,
Oh,
find the need and fill it. Don't find the need and kill it.
right, right, 100%.
So more jobs, and Richard has left. More jobs is saying, keep up the good work.
Mm.
Ray from Macmillan Group, our sponsor for today. Great conversation, amazing program, fantastic. So a little announcement here, people. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break. So Friday is Canada Day in Canada. So it's a national holiday, and so we will not be broadcasting this live this Friday. There will be a repeat, and then Monday we won't be broadcasting. So the next time we're going to be on live is July 8th. July 8th.
Yes.
We don't have anyone scheduled yet for the July 8th, but the following week we got some serious heavy hitters. We got Kofi Hope coming up on the Monday, and then we also have a lady from Support Black Charities?
Yes, Anik. Oh my gosh, Silencio.
That's all right. Yeah. So we're going to be. Go ahead.
Who came to ACBN's very first meeting 5 years ago.
Wow.
At Chinkuzi Chalet in Brampton, has been a supporter since day one. I'm a big fan of hers and loving what she's doing to support Black charities. So yes.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to have a conversation with her because I've always wondered about that organization. I see the name, but I don't know what they're really about. Right. So I'm looking forward to keep educated. So Ryan, what's on tap for the rest of this week? Do you have any on top for the long weekend?
Yeah, so this week we're going to be, again, pushing for the GoFundMe to support the participants in the Detailing Nights Youth Entrepreneurship Program. Again, a follow-up from the conference. So tomorrow night, Tuesday evening, we're doing the study groups. So really extending the conversations from the conference, the Black Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Conference. And tonight, Monday evening, we are doing a community discussion around these Black entrepreneurship loan programs that the banks and the federal government have created to see how people are feeling, are people getting through, and maybe what recommendations can be sent up the chain to these corporations. So
we, as Richard said during the conversation, or maybe you said, we got to keep on pushing.
Yes,
because it's so easy to be put in the rearview mirror.
And perhaps we should sue. These banks are using the Black community to get PR and putting out false claims that are not true. So it might get to that point where we have to say what they are saying is actually fraud. Like they are putting out stuff that's not true. So I'm curious to get people's feedback on their experience.
It'll be interesting because I'm guesstimating, and again, I'm not a banker. They could say, well, people aren't meeting the qualifications.
Well, they've been saying that from time. But they could always say that.
Here's an interesting thought process. It seems that banks are willing, from what I've seen, to give many of us loans to go to school.
Okay.
Right? AKA, so many people have student debt, OSAP, etc., all that, right? But it's interesting. It ain't cheap to go to school these days, full secondary education, right? But people are getting the loans, OSAP, whatever. OSAP is Ontario Student Assistance Program. I think that's what that's what they call it. Actually, when I was much younger going to school, one of my teachers told me, you're a SAP to take OSAP, but that's another conversation. But it's easier for that loan. But when it comes to starting a business or helping with business, it's so difficult.
Very difficult. Yeah,
so
just to give people a sneak peek. So some of the responses I've gotten include, your income from the last 2 years was lower, and so we can't process your loan. I guess they forgot that COVID hit, or maybe
You're kidding me.
Some people.
You're kidding me.
Dead serious. And so this is what we're dealing with. They're saying that they want to support the Black community. Oh, we're seeing that on your credit, you've had a collections from 6 years ago, automatic decline. This is what they're saying, that they're creating programs to support people that aren't A-listers. Like if you don't have any marks and have a $1 million business, yeah, of course, like you don't need a specific program to get a loan from the bank. So what is this program actually doing? If it's not designed for those that don't fit the traditional banking process, then it's just fluff and it's actually not true. So, hey, we'll go deeper tonight for those that
Well,
are
I'm,
interested.
I'm looking forward to hearing the results of these conversations. And I think one of the reasons I do what I do is to get the message out that people can hear what's going on, because the media aspect is very, very important. And I think that, like, again, I haven't heard too many people who got loans.
And that's the crazy thing. There's 5 programs right now out there, and I can't find more than 5 people that have gotten loans from them.
Wow.
Not even 5. And so this is
Wow.
where PACU is really important, because we need to have our own financial institutions to have an alternative. Right now, we're only being able to take what's being given. And if we don't create an alternative for ourselves, it's always going to be frustrating for a good chunk of our entrepreneurs and our business owners. And I'm seeing it play out in real time. Like that's what is really frustrating, is people are calling me and wanting answers and wanting guidance, and I don't have anything to give them, because like you said, the bank can just say, sorry, you don't hit our criteria. And sometimes it's criteria that's not even listed. They are like digging into stuff and just saying, like, finding any reason to decline people. So
So more jobs has an interesting question. Do you think the programs are only collecting data versus giving loans?
if you look at what's been produced, that they've collected a lot of data. Even look at Face, 16,000 uh, 16,000 users on their platform have given their data willingly. How many loans have they processed? According to their own research, about 110. So who's really benefiting? Now Face has all this loan data, CIBC, RBC, BMO, they all have their forms that we've filled out. They get all this data, yet they are not they're not producing any funding for anybody. So to answer the question, they're getting data and we're not getting the money. So that's where it is today until I am told otherwise.
State of the Nation by Ryan Knight.
And TD doesn't even have a program. So Al Ramsey maybe can get on that.
All right, he's thrown out the gauntlet. Yeah, I don't think they have. Well, but they aren't they. But they are in collaboration with the Black Opportunity Fund, so they don't have. I think that's what. Okay,
Yeah, to be
but
determined.
but
Until things are announced, I can't report on it. So if they're working on that program, when that is announced, that'll be great. But right today, they do not have a Black entrepreneurship loan program, which is similar to the ones that do have it, because both have not given out any money. So RBC can say they have a program, they've given out $0. TD doesn't have a program, they've given out $0. It's all equal. So we shall see who changes first.
I just curious because I always ABC always be curious. I wonder if other marginalized communities have the same experience.
Well, when you dig in, I mean, if you're talking about like the Chinese or Korean, they have their own banks and credit unions. If you're talking about indigenous, they have their own financial institutions. So they at least have an option, an alternative. So maybe they do experience the same thing at the traditional big 5,
But
but they can go to their own credit union and get support. Right
is
now,
that
we do not have
is
that option.
is it, so then that is that the that leads on to another conversation. Maybe one day we'll have to maybe have a roundtable or series. And I think Dr. Yashi talked about segregation. Has integration helped the state of the Black person?
Or we sold a false bill of goods.
You know, uh, we should do a $1 contribution per entrepreneur exclusive to PACU.
Yeah, maybe we should bring them on the 8th. If we don't have somebody, we really have to hammer this home. But we'll see. We'll see.
it's and folks, I'll just close off here. Just me saying, we don't live in a democracy, people. We live in a capitalistic society, right? And even organizations that are nonprofit, they need money to run.
100%, yes.
So whether we like it or not, capitalism is involved. So, and even more so, land. Land. We need to own. We need to own land. Like it's still.
Yes.
And correct me, maybe there may be two or three Afrocentric schools in the Greater Toronto area. Not enough.
Agreed.
Got to own land. Land is important. We got to own our own.
Agreed.
We don't got to own our own. So Ryan, we won't be live for that's gonna be a bit like about 12, 13 days. But
yeah, 2 weeks. We'll be back 2 weeks from now, Monday.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now, Monday. So, well, no.
Or is there a Friday in between?
The Friday. No, it's
yeah.
We'll be back a week from this Friday because Friday and this Monday we are not live, but then the following Friday. That should be interesting. What goes on in the world until that time. So I'd like to say thanks to everybody who watched live on the replay today. It's appreciated and not taken for granted. Please stay safe. It is a little bit of a cray world out there these days. So, stay safe. Make sure, as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace. And don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And finally, a tree that does not have roots is a piece of wood. Bye.